All right, the one we've been waiting for. Brian Wright, the Hive Podcast 2.0 episode. I have no idea, but finally, me, Brian Wright, with Ed Scarrano.
Been a long time.
What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. How are we doing today?
I am good.
Good.
We definitely, this is a long time coming.
Yes.
And our relationship is one that's been, developing over time. And I think we've gotten to a good place with how we're operating. And yeah, I figured this is it, man. We've got to sit down. We've got to break down what we're doing. Because I don't think people are as aware of your influence on our programming as what I'm doing over at Killer Bee.
Sure.
So first off, I always am fascinated by how life works at times, because you and I connected from just a random ad for a trainer. And it's developed into, you're like my core guy. You're like the pillar of the strength and conditioning here. And it literally just started off with, I think it was like an Indeed ad or a Facebook post or something.
It was Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just put my resume out there just in general, and I got hit back with about 6 personal training jobs. And this one and one other are the ones that interested me.
I'm not going to lie, for what we were looking to do and all the people that were together in the list, I didn't think you were going to be a good fit for what we were trying to do.
Oh, I had no interest. When I went over there to meet you, and I saw the MMA equipment and the guys wrestling and fighting, I'm like, I think it's one of the first things I said was, well, first of all, I'm coming off a bicep injury, and second of all, I have little to no knowledge about MMA except for what I see on TV. Yeah. I've never really gotten into mixed martial arts. And you said, don't worry about it. I don't need you for that. I need you across the street. Can you start Monday?
Yeah, B-Lab, so I've talked about it before, but I haven't gone as in-depth as we need to. But B-Lab started off because I've been doing the Killer Bee project. It's now 2026. That's 28 years now. I've been dealing with primarily a young demographic the entire time. I'm dealing with a lot of athletes. I'm dealing with a lot of young people. I have people of all ages training in the gym, but the dominant age category is low 20s to early 30s, and being, I'll be 52 in March. So I'm not part of the young category anymore. So Killer Bee just became this space that it was very youth oriented, and it's the same problem with youth being solved over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, I've got this culture, I've got this skill set, we've got this benefit. I would like to expand my ability to service people. And so I said, so how do I do that? And so I was like, okay, let's take away the youthful stuff, the intimidating stuff, and let's create an environment for people to work out that a 35 plus person is not going to be intimidated or as intimidated by, and can, we can develop another community there. And then I can be around people, closer to my age that would, just expanding my community that I could interact with more than anything. And that's how that came about. And then, so we create B-Lab, I need instructors, and yeah, man, we found you. And that was the thing where, I didn't even know what we were trying to do, because you're coming out of powerlifting, and I was like, okay, we're trying to do this cardio thing. I didn't really know what the demographic was actually going to break down to. I didn't know what this community was really going to need. It was kind of interesting, because when I first opened up, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I found out I didn't. And then it took me a minute to figure it out. And I feel like on the more fitness side, same exact process. So I felt like I was 18 again. And it's different how you respond to problems over time. At 50 something, it's a lot different than I was 18 when I was 18. Just keep charging. At 50 though, now you got to make decisions. You got a wife, you got kids, you got time, you got this other business. It's different. But in the process of this arm wrestling with this beast of a business to kind of figure out who's the community going to be, how are we going to provide for them, what did I get right, what did I get wrong, you've been a consistent person that's been here. And then the more we started to talk, the more I saw oh, this is a person that his value is more than what I perceive it to be, and this place is a better fit for him than I was aware. And I think even for yourself, I think the opportunity always was visible, but I think that you connected with it as you connected with the people. And then when we started talking about expanding the training, then we really started to break it apart. And we literally recently just ripped the entire space apart, put it back together. We changed the programming up, we changed the equipment up, and we said, okay, we screwed up over this block of time, and now we've got to move forward in a better fashion. When I say we screwed up, it's like we kind of missed the mark. We were doing good stuff, but I think we missed the mark in terms of maximizing our skill sets.
Yeah.
And that's why now it's kind of like, I would like to sit here and allow you to kind of define what your skill set is, to let people know why it is that you do this, and to kind of open the door so people understand that B-Lab is a community with a purpose the same way that Killer Bee is. It's just a little bit different. Same formula, same philosophy, just tweaked a little differently because of the different communities that we service.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think one of the biggest things for me was when I came in, it was like, okay, I think I interviewed with you on Thursday, and you said, come check the space out. We'll have this ready on Monday. And literally everything was on the floor.
Yeah.
But from that moment, you kind of were hands off. And it allowed me that creative space to kind of like break away from the rigidness of the guidelines we were trying to set, just trying to figure out what it was, if that makes sense, and giving people what they wanted. And the demographic that you're talking about was these middle-aged females, middle-aged men, anywhere from, I shouldn't say middle-aged, I'll probably insult them if they're 35, but, but being 54, you get to look back now and you have this knowledge. And even for me, I wasn't really sure what the skill set was because I just came off powerlifting. But I had just recently finished doing group classes on the beach in Ocean Grove. And who the hell doesn't want to teach, workout classes on the beach in Ocean Grove or anywhere for that matter. And I realized I had a passion for the small group classes. And then coming
One thing with you is, though, I don't mean to cut you off, but so it was how you spoke about your group classes that gave me the ability to trust my investment in you for a time, and then to start asking more. Because I think that with being a coach, the primary thing is you have to care about people. Yeah. And in the beginning, it was you cared about the business, and I didn't understand your relationship with the people. But then when I hear you talk about the people that you're working in the group class, and how excited you were for their consistency and then the results they got. And that, my confidence in this situation got more and more based off of your response to your own coaching. And then I started to see that here. And I think a lot of it was just kind of taking the guardrails off and allowing you to care here as much as you did there.
What really inspired me to continue to grow with it was, well, first of all, where I was originally, I had gotten my personal training cert, and they're like, okay, well, now you have to figure out, what do you want to do? Who do you want to coach? What demographic do you want to coach? And then I had an opportunity to do some small group classes at that gym, filling in for somebody, and I'm like, wow, I really like this. This is pretty cool. Yeah. I love the one-on-one, and I don't think enough people know that we do one-on-one here as well, which obviously, we'll have to expand on that. But the group classes alone, because it's a small group, you can still kind of do that one-on-one with 10 people.
Well, you can have a relationship.
And have a relationship, right? And then them outside of here, they've grown, it's become a community, a tribe, and they push each other, which I love seeing. And that all, I realized I come from, actually, I was the director of my church. And it blows my mind that you and I get along so well and we're on the same page with this because we have such different philosophies. But I was the director of a church, and I was a facilitator. I was a great facilitator, bringing people in and bringing people together and getting them to realize that same concept of what I'm trying to do. And it really, I brought that with me on this journey as I'm.
So, you're saying that, it's surprising that we get along the way we do when we have such differing opinions, but that's the thing, is that when we're dealing with people and we care about people, the wrapping, the wrapping of the package is different, but the core is the same, and that's why we get along, is because
it's about the community.
You can be whatever religious affiliation you want, and I can be as unaffiliated as I want, as long as we care about people. And this is not purely transactional. We truly do give a crap. We care that we're bringing people together to achieve something that's going to benefit them. If we weren't doing that, we wouldn't do this. That's the one thing you and I have in line. Like we don't really do anything here strictly for money.
Well, I was going to say, if we didn't care, we wouldn't have torn it down and rebuilt it.
Yes.
You know,
At more expense.
yeah. I mean, to give them what they want, to realize what people are looking for these days, so that it's not necessarily going to a gym that's going to offer them a challenge and put them in caloric deficit and, promise them all these different things, all these different goals, to show them their progress.
But that's the thing we talk about the most is reality versus fiction versus bro science versus cognitive dissonance, like the whole 9 yards. Fitness is probably the most polluted thing outside of politics that we deal with.
Yeah.
And it's as team oriented as Democrat and Republican. You get people that are team keto, they're team cardio, they're team walking, team lifting, team CrossFit, team whatever. And it's crazy. Like they'll put anything and everything else that they don't identify with down without really understanding it, and then come up with basically taking real ideas, putting them together in a way that is not actually real, and just trying to reinforce an idea. When again, if what you're trying to do is just help people, what you do is you have to cut through all the noise. You have to give them real solutions. I mean, it's crazy. We had a conversation yesterday about how media, social media, movies, magazines, whatever, imagery that's being put out commercially, that's being backed up by information influencers, is making people feel like they fail when they're truly living beneficial and disciplined lifestyles. So you can't look like, Josh Brolin as Cable is what we were talking about, or Sylvester Stallone when he made Rocky IV, when there's tricks and tactics for them to look that way for a very short amount of time, and then they never look that way again. But the problem is it's being represented as like, no, that's the standard in which these people are operating, but it's not. It's fiction. It's all fiction. Like a bodybuilder, I mean, okay, so my wife's a bodybuilder, and you've had a lot between powerlifting and bodybuilding. My wife, when she steps on stage, looks like that. And then literally by the end of the day doesn't look like that.
Sure.
It's
crazy.
It's a competitive.
But that's the competitive side of it. When we're talking about social media, we're talking about so much misinformation because of influencers, and it's.
But my wife could sell her stage photos as her walk around if she wanted to, which most of them do. I mean, do you know how many female bodybuilders are selling booty bands and like fake workouts, saying, "Oh, you're going to look like me"? It's like, well, they're not on Anavar. They're not working out 4 hours a day. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's a big lie, and that's just what we've agreed we're not going to do. Is we're not going to go along with the fake stuff. And again, challenges, you already hit upon it. Caloric deficit, dehydration, like basically starving people and dehydrating them, getting them on a scale and telling them that they lost body fat. It's the most disgusting practice there is. There's a guy in town who's been running a fat loss challenge for years, and basically it's a water weight challenge. I know a good wrestler who asked me, he goes, "Yo, help me cut the weight off." Came to the gym, cut the weight off, and he won like $5,000 on the guy's challenge.
Yeah, because you'll lose 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds easily if you have that weight. If you're someone that's overweight and your goal is to lose weight, obviously, doing a diet like that, you're going to lose 20 pounds like that. Because it's mostly just water weight right there.
It's not even a diet,
right. And then you're like, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
Unless you're someone who's a wrestler who came to you like, "Hey, I want to win this challenge, let's do this cut." But if you're just some middle-aged person that really just wants to get healthy.
And all you're looking at is the scale as your barometer, because you've been told that's the only real barometer for weight, for health. I mean, that's a broken model.
Then they come back to that person, "Don't worry about it, we have another challenge coming up. It's going to be an accountability challenge. This one's good. This one's right for you." And they yo-yo diet.
Yeah, there's no lifestyle.
No.
So, I mean, what do you consider to be a healthy lifestyle? So I named the gym B-Lab, but the acronym is built like a boxer. I didn't want it to be a boxing gym, but I think the boxing aesthetic is a classical aesthetic of health and wellness. It's a fighting mentality to do the work, but it's also lean muscle mass, it's flexibility, it's speed, it's grit. It represents a lot of things. So Built Like a Boxer was meant to represent that classical image of a boxer, the lean and mean image. But in terms of what you're aspiring to achieve, if someone's here and they go through like, 3 or 4 cycles with you, what is the quality, what is the standard, like what are you trying to achieve with people in your mind?
I mean, it's something that you and I have talked about, and it's a word that keeps coming up, and it's just progress, constant progress, and to assure them of the goals they have are attainable goals. Let's make them attainable goals, first of all. Let's put the phone down. Like, we did this a while back where it's like, if you're a plus size person, let's look through a magazine and let's look for somebody that maybe you want to like look like that person, but within reason, right? Okay, cool. Or if, actually I trained somebody this morning and she was like, I don't really care about my progress. I don't really care about, and then she said, I want longevity. I said, you did it. You just gave me a great goal. You want longevity with your health. You want to be able to help your parents. You want to be able to lift this and that and everything else. And because she's a very strong person who tends to half-ass it when she's bored or not engaged. So I'm like, okay, so how can we get you engaged? How can we get you to come up with those goals? Because she's not as interested with.
She doesn't want to put muscle on, doesn't really care about the weight loss. So for her, it's more of a functional longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, dude, you just did it. After we just sat there and talked forever, I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. I really just want to move my body. I'm like, okay, that's great. Everybody else move their body. Right. So when we finally peeled it back, it was like, I want to be healthy for a long time. I'm like, cool. Okay, so let's put that here.
Yeah.
What's next? So I like being able to find that in people where they, aspire to be more, even if it's little baby steps.
But it's got to be real.
Sure, it's always got to be real. I mean, I don't even want to get into the whole like dating scene with being catfished when you see someone's picture online and they're beautiful and you go meet them. And it's, and that's, but people are looking at themselves in the mirror the same way.
But that's the problem we were talking about with the influencer side of it. So when you're looking, when a 50-something-year-old dude is looking at Hugh Jackman and going, why can't I look like him? And it's like, well, you didn't get paid, tens of millions of dollars to play a character, get all the support in the world, have nothing else to focus on, and then have the right angles and the right everything. We're talking about people that have to go to school, they have to go to work, they have to raise kids, they have to take care of homes, they have a lot of things to do. So the reality of being able to achieve certain aesthetics, it's not there. Like health is not the aesthetic that gets pushed. So the problem ends up being like, okay, so you don't get the extreme look and then you go, oh, I'm failing. Your program sucks. You don't know what you're doing kind of thing. And it's like, no, you have an inappropriate goal. Like progress is the key. That's like in Japanese, they say Kaizen and it's 1% better every day. So as long as you're moving forward, you're good. But if you can't track it, you shouldn't do it because it's not a real goal unless you can track the progress. So if you're here and you want to get to here, then you have to track it. So you actually can say, progress is not a thought or a feeling. Progress is, I was able to do 1, now I can do 2.
Yep.
I used to weigh this, now I weigh that. I used to run this fast, now I run that fast. That's progress. And that's what we've now come to really embrace. And we've been saying that, the biggest conversation we had was that shift from, we were talking way too much about classes, like we do this class, and we weren't connecting with the goal and letting people understand that there really is a system to what we do. So if you're showing up consistently, you're participating in a system, like you're here, you're there, and this is what the intention is. And that's where the going back and forth with us with our skill sets has really been, I think, the fun part of, say, the last month and how we redesigned the gym, where we said, okay, instead of 10 bags, we're going to have 5. And then we built this rig, and now we've got more bikes and we've got more equipment because we're like, okay, so how are we going to offer a more complete solution? So we've got burning calories, the tools to build muscle, we have the programming to make sure that mobility is there. Like we've got the holistic approach.
Yeah.
And now to the conversation that we're having about body image, inappropriate goal setting, unrealistic understanding of everything from calories to muscle building to whatever. So now we're talking about, you've got the mental side of it, you got the physical side of it, and we're we have the database to answer the questions. We have the experience to prove that it works. We've got the systems to make it work and execute. So, we're in a good spot that way.
No, we definitely are. And it just came to me now, and I know somebody's been talking about it. It was like an aha moment for me. But just the people that we've had from the beginning, I've seen exponential changes, which is amazing.
Yep.
And to continue to keep them moving, I think that's where like you said, we were missing the mark on something, is not helping them to track their progress so that, okay, you hit a goal. What's the next goal?
But we're also not celebrating anything.
And then how do we keep consistent with it, and how do we regulate it? We don't want you to put that weight back on.
Exactly.
We don't want you to get weak again.
And we also don't want you to miss the opportunity to find, besides the physical strength, but the mental strength. And that's the celebrating of the process that's so important, is to realize that you were here and you're now here. Like, be proud of that. Carry that with you. You have the ability to endure.
We have a couple of people like that, where the one female, and she's so strong, and every time she comes in here, she works so hard. I don't even have to tell her what to do. She just does it. Actually, she goes heavier on her own. I love it. But there are days where I'm like, hey, are you coming in today? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, no, get in here. And she'll thank me later. She's like, thanks for making me come in, because I was sitting on my couch.
Yeah, what we were talking about this morning even was that there's a difference between a 5 a.m. and a 5 p.m. At 5 a.m., when you come in at 5 a.m., you've got this like, everybody's asleep, I'm up. You got a little bit more of a Viking mentality about it. Like it's very hard to be self-deprecating when you're standing in a gym at 5 a.m.
Sure.
So you're like, okay, I'm a warrior. But then the 5 p.m. people, they went to work, they went to school, they did whatever they do. They're dragging when they get here sometimes. And then that drag is kind of like, all right, this is like the finishing off the day instead of the reclaiming opportunity that it is. So no matter how the day was from when you woke up until you come in at 5, 6, or 7 to work out, that last workout part of the day is when you get to reclaim it. You actually can be the warrior at the end of the day if you choose. And it takes a different psychology and communicating with people to get them to understand that. Because sometimes too look, we're in our 50s, we've been doing this a long time. Sometimes we forget what the struggle is like because, doing the job is just what we do. Tackling the adversity of the job is not a question. You just do it.
Right.
Where it doesn't matter how young or how mature people are. A lot of people have not faced themselves with this kind of discipline ever before. So we have to be there to help them understand, like, no, you're not who you were yesterday. You are who you are today. You're not the problem that you had 10 years ago. You are the person that's solving it right now. Like, there's a lot of strength here. And that shit, to be able to do this for 28 years, the only reason I keep doing it, it's not traveling, it's not fighting, it's legitimately the people every day that, even like when I'm having a bad day and I see somebody that came in when they didn't want to, I'm like, all right, I still got to do it. I got to come in, because that's what I want to see inspired. I just want to see people live better. That's all. And that's what we're talking about. It's the progress part. If we can help people with the progress, it's like, okay, now we have purpose. Now we have value. And now it works.
And do something that will bring something to the table that other gyms aren't bringing, because we both know the market's saturated. There's gyms everywhere, but are they doing it right? What are they doing? What can we do differently that can keep people consistent and show them that progress?
I also think our maturity is one of the main differences too.
I can tell you right now, I'm not a workout at night kind of guy. You can cut that out later, by the way. I'm just kidding. No, but like, I understand. I'm very empathetic to people working out at night. I wish I had somebody push me like that on the nights I had to work out, when I had to work out because I didn't get in the morning. I have shitty workouts when I'm working out at night if I don't have somebody pushing me.
But you know what you're capable of now, though, as a human being.
Of course.
In your 50s. This is. If you asked me when I was 18 what 50 was going to be like, I thought I was going to be, gray-haired and over. Oh shit, I'm already there. But no, but I thought life was like over at that point.
Yeah.
Like 50 is ancient. But now I'm here and I'm like, wait a minute. I still am physically capable, and I have all this experience now. So now, having the experience, and I'm still able to do stuff, it's like, okay, like this is probably my most optimal time to be a coach is right now. because I've lived enough to understand what it is I do. And I think the value of your competitive training is that too. So being a power lifter and pushing yourself to the limits that you have. And then also even, forget about it, just like the personal challenges that you've gone through, whatever. Like, you understand life, you understand training, you understand business. So you here now, this is like the golden opportunity, because you're in that key position, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can answer the questions, I can still do the job, I can provide that, and people see that, they recognize it. There's like a camaraderie with it. It's not just, you're not speaking from on high, you're experienced now. You're not a young person saying, I read this. You're like, no, I've done this, I did this right, I did this wrong, I've been there, I've been that. So people can trust you because they know you've been in the positions that they're in at some point.
Yeah, and I've made that transition to where we're at now. Just too many injuries to talk about, and it's just,
we don't have enough time for our injuries.
We don't have enough time for all those injuries, but funny enough, a lot of them happened during powerlifting, and it was very humbling for me. I'm able to lift this weight, but all of a sudden, then something goes wrong, and it's like, well, what did I do wrong? How did that happen? How did that happen? And you learn a lot about yourself.
As a coach, when you're dealing with, because the amount of weight that you're lifting, if you make a mistake, you're screwed up for the rest of your days. So that kind of focus, does that translate into how you coach when it comes to like form or understanding of the importance of form?
1,000%.
The motivation in terms of like what you're doing, how many reps, like do you feel that?
100%, 1,000%, because I used to like take a little shit from people when I used to record my lifts, and I would send them to my coach, and he would say to me, I know what you did wrong. And I would look at it, I'm like, shit, just that little tweak when you're talking about squatting 500 pounds, deadlifting 600 pounds. Basically, you said, when I tore my bicep, congratulations, I did a 540 pound bicep curl. So, and when you look at it, you're like, damn it, I can't believe I did that. Shit, oh my God. But then, when I'm here with everybody and I see them doing it wrong, or even the basics of like just keeping your head straight instead of like turning around talking to your friend, or you're up like this or you're down like this. I give them a very basic test. Do a morning row. Do it with your head like this, with no weight, and you can feel it pull on your back. Do it like this. You can feel it pull, and they get it. They're like, oh, wow. And so I really try to focus on just perfect form as best I can. I don't care about the weight. The weight will come. Mm-hmm. I want your weight. I want your form to be perfect, so that you don't hurt your back, so that you don't pull a muscle. Make sure that we're warming up. Make sure that we're cooling down after and stretching, because that was something that I just didn't do enough of either. Right? With powerlifting, you don't do a lot of cardio. Let's face it, you don't do a lot of cardio, and I really wasn't doing my flexibility and mobility stuff enough. So
strong as hell, stiff as a board.
Exactly. But it definitely helped me as a coach to make sure everybody's doing it right. So
I had a client that last year we did a 12-week program. We were doing kickboxing one-on-ones, and he was like, I really want to he was 52, 53 at the time, and he was like, I want to change the physical side of it. The kickboxing been great for me mentally. I love the technical side of it. I really want to get into strength and conditioning. We did a 12-week program. The confidence that he has as a human being from going to he was scared to deadlift, scared. And then gave me every anecdotal statement you could about how deadlifting is going to ruin you and he's too old for it and whatever. By the time we were done, he was pushing 400 pounds on his deadlift. I never had him max out. I don't think he did more than 205 before he maxed at I believe it was 390.
Okay.
But so he goes from 100 pounds to almost 400 pounds in 12 weeks. And it was literally a confidence thing.
Sure.
He was scared of the weight. He was scared to lift. And then all the programming was screwing with him, because the programming of the outside world, oh, you're old, don't do this, don't do that. And then telling him, no, you have to eat more of this, you have to eat more of that. He was trying to grow muscle by putting himself in deficit, which is an impossibility.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to get a muscular aesthetic without lifting any heavy weight. And I was ass backwards, but you're programmed to fail by the majority of the media that's put out there because they're leaning into your fears and they want you to be comfortable with your fears and they never want you to leave that space. So I was like, no, we're going to challenge this. And over 12 weeks, we just took it head on and it was like, nope, that's bro science. No, this is fake. Just shut up and do what I'm telling you to do on this one.
Yeah.
Please give me a couple weeks. I know it's boring. I know it's scary. I know it's whatever. Like 3 weeks into it, he was like, my energy level's better, I'm sleeping better, I'm more flexible, I'm stronger, everything's better. Oh my God, I'm hungry all the time, I'm losing weight, I'm da-da-da. Like, it's like, okay, just process and just follow through with it. And we went from A to that, and it was like life-changing for him. But the confidence factor of leaning into stuff that he was told not to invest in at his age, and that's the thing where like, we can say because we've been there, done it, like, no, don't be afraid. You know, people are like, oh, I don't want to be bulky. I'm like, okay, well, don't eat. Like, if you're eating to support the lifting, you're going to get bigger.
Of course.
But if you're keeping your calories in check, your calories are going to find the aesthetic. It's not the lifting that's defining the aesthetic. Ultimately, it's your calories and the lifting that will define it, of course. But if you're eating in abundance and you're lifting really heavy, yeah, you're going to get big.
Yeah.
You don't get big by starving.
You know, it's when we had when you asked me to train Hamdi, I was like, all right, just strength training. I said, okay, we can do this. So I started doing a little research just to make I want to make sure I was on my game. And basically, training an MMA guy, a UFC guy, when he's going to fight, is actually power. It's all powerlifting moves. It's all explosive movement.
We do enough cardio in the gym.
Yeah,
we do enough cardio.
So I didn't have to worry about that because you were kicking the shit out of him, when you left here. But I was like, oh, okay. So I don't think deadlifting is detrimental to your lift. Like, you don't have to go for 600 pounds if you're not competing, but it can be part of the routine.
Yes.
And if nothing else, it's gonna strengthen your trunk. It's gonna strengthen your hamstrings. People forget how muscular your ass is and how important the ass is to everything else. Like, so many of my injuries came from something that was tweaked in my butt. Like, it wasn't my leg. It wasn't it was something in my butt.
You're out of balance.
Right. Exactly. So doing deadlifts and stuff like that, why not?
So I had a physical therapist. My last knee operation, the physical therapist was just like talking to me about stuff. And we were just kind of like shooting the shit about physicality, different things. And he said, the number one thing we do to figure out longevity. I said, what? He goes, sit down on the floor and then get up without using your hands. If you have the ability to get up off the floor to a full standing position without using your hands, you're good. And the thing about functional lifting, like a deadlift, is it strengthens all the muscles that you need so that A, you don't fall, and if you do fall, you can recover and get back up. So as humans, like, one of the biggest things we're afraid of as we age is that we're losing strength and whatnot. And if you look at the way the body's designed, we lose cardio. Our cardio starts to drop at 34, but our strength doesn't drop until 63 to 65. So we actually, our peak strength is in our 50s.
Right.
And then we'll start to, you won't be able to grow as much, but you'll be able to maintain from like 55 to 65. You should be able to maintain your lifts, and they'll start to drop off after 65 because that's when the longevity factor starts to kick in. But we're really designed to stop ourselves from falling over. So if you're ignoring core motions and just walking, hey, if you're doing nothing, doing something's good for you.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, if you're really going to invest in your health and wellness, it cannot just be cardio. It cannot just be strength. And even mobility, it can't just be mobility. You do have to have the balance of it, and that's why we made the shift. I mean, we have 4 different quadrants of the room that handle. We're talking about burning calories, building muscle, creating mobility situations, challenging your usage of your body in all the different ways so that, a healthier lifestyle. So if you take advantage of all the different skill sets,
right, you're
going to be balanced. And then you're going to be built like a boxer, and you're going to be fast on your feet and be able to have applicable physicality.
I took the yoga class 2 weeks in a row, and I didn't realize how tight I was just not working on my flexibility until I took the yoga class. It was great.
It's so important.
2 weeks, and I feel already more mobile, more flexible, more,
When our yoga instructor she had a trip to Australia, and she was gone for like 6 weeks. I had to teach the mobility classes on Saturday. So I put everybody through, I have a very specific stretch routine that I developed over the years, and I put everybody through it, but I hadn't done it for a while.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe A, how sore I was, B, how tired I was, but then the next day I was like, wow, a lot of my aches and pains are different, like, in a good way. Because I have really bad issues from a lot of the stuff that I do to myself over at Killer Bee, and I probably should do a lot more stuff over here for myself. But
kind of like sparring with 275 pounds. You know, so you
holding
guys.
pads for guys is the killer, and for me, the hardest thing is it's a time management issue. I mean, I have 2 young kids and stuff. I don't want to have excuses for it. I definitely could do more. But again, it just, time management becomes a problem with terms of taking care of myself. But, I use my body so much throughout the day. I'm very physical, so I'm pretty tired. But, finding that time and figuring out the balance of how to make it work is really important. People that are not holding pads for gorillas like me, 35, 40 minutes a day, you can do it. And we have the programming for it. If you can't do it here, we have the programming for you to do it at home. You do it here, you do it at home, combination of the two, get your calories in check. I mean, it's a life-altering experience.
The one burn class that we do is also boxing, and my cardio for so many years was boxing. I hit the heavy bag, I hit the speed bag, I hit the jump rope, I hit the bike. I had people come up to me like, oh, when are you fighting again? Are you a professional fighter? I'm like, no, I watch Rocky. But I was big into boxing back in the 80s and 90s when it was more legit, at least to me.
I'm not going to say it was more legit. Okay, real fast. I will come back to that.
Yeah, okay.
Real fast. We're going to put a pause. Come back to where you were.
Yeah.
The difference between the problem is in the 80s and 90s to today issue is that when strength and conditioning actually became a big part of fight culture and steroid usage increased, the physicality of these guys changed. So they didn't have to be as skillful because they were hitting so hard because of the speed, balance, and agility increases, then being backed up with chemical enhancement. So you have guys that are moving really fast, hitting really hard, and it was more because they were designed to accelerate more so than to throw a proper punch. So the 80s and the 90s are like the golden age of fighting because strength and conditioning was there, better nutrition was there, the paydays got better. So it was that was the last window of athleticism, and it was a different kind of skill. Like you don't get a Sugar Ray Leonard so much today.
No.
As great as Floyd Mayweather was, as great as Crawford was, their skills side by side were different. They would have beat all the guys of the golden era because they're bigger, faster, stronger, plus skilled.
Yeah.
But that early generation, that one window, that was the skill era. And then strength and conditioning really kicked in. Kickboxing, same thing. The K1 guys, as of 2000, kickboxing pretty much died because the skill level changed and it just was big, strong guys that hit really hard.
Well, but that's what inspired me, and I was like, I can do this. And I'd get bored just sitting on a bike or just going on a treadmill or just doing a Stairmaster. So to be able to move like that, great workout. And to be able to coach it now and to get involved in it.
We understand, but again, that's the thing. At our age, we have the ability to look back and say, okay, we've done this, we've done that. You get to apply all the different skills now. You get to apply the experience.
Yeah.
It's not anecdotal. This is like real science backing up the things that we knew. We knew them anecdotally, but now through education, we're really refining what it is that we do.
I definitely scratched my head a couple of times when we first started, and I had to convince myself to stay the course. I'm like, well, this guy's been in business for 28 years, so I know he's got to be doing something right. So I know there's an opportunity in this somewhere. And we finally defined it, but I know that, to stay the course and to get more educated on what people want and to try to get more
not
people
even what people
in.
want as much as what works.
Yeah.
What people want is shit that works.
Of course.
So the question then becomes like, okay, we know this works. We know this is what they want. Now, getting them to understand and buy in is the hard part. But the thing is, free yourself. So think about it from an orthodox perspective. I mean, you're coming from a strength-based background. you do have kind of guardrails on your thought process for a while where it's like, no, this is my lane, and to open yourself back up to other ideas beyond that lane. Like your existence for what, the last decade was basically, how can I pick up the heaviest objects there are,
Of course.
in a very narrow amount of ways. It wasn't and at the expense of your own body as well. Like, you weren't lifting this weight because you wanted to be healthy, you were lifting the weight because you wanted to win. So then now you have to transition back to like, okay, now I have to now because I wanted to win, I know what I'm capable of. I know how far I can push. I don't need to do that anymore, but I know that it's there if I had to.
Sure.
And now you know when someone says I can't do anymore, that they can, because you have. We've had this discussion a bunch of times. The brain tells you you're done, but you're not.
No.
You're still good. So the hard part is, again, getting through to somebody to let them understand that you're kind of making a choice to stop right now. Like, failure is an involuntary choice. You have to keep going until your body can't go anymore.
Yeah.
Quitting when you want is not failure. That's a mental failure. That's not a physical failure. We're in the job of finding your physical failure.
I think the easy part is going to have people buying into what we're trying to do here with the progress and whatever else, with the pillars and what have you. I think the hardest part is going to be people shitting on themselves.
It always is.
You know what I mean? No, I mean, obviously, yeah, but I mean, that's going to be the biggest issue of it. I can't do that.
As a business
I
owner,
can't lift that.
the last year and a half here, I think that was my struggle even with the business.
Yeah.
I mean, I signed the lease on this, and then Jay, who was my right-hand man, passes, and I have my head up my ass going through that. It was horrible. It rocks our community. We open up we have a really poorly executed opening, and a very tumultuous first 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And then, kind of regrouping, repaying attention. Then it was like survival. And then, do you want to do it or not do it? Can you do it? Can you not do it? And then, the endurance and the grit factor kicked in, and then it all started to make more sense. And I was like, oh, okay.
See, that's where I saw when it got tumultuous and it got hard for you, that's where I saw opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I could see that you weren't giving up on this that easily, as much as you thought you should and wanted to. But
From
that's
a mathematic perspective,
of course.
I should have quit on this a long time ago.
Sure.
But from a entrepreneurial perspective, with a fighting background,
Yeah.
I was like, you ain't breaking me. You ain't breaking me.
I saw that.
I'm gonna, come hell or high water, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah. So that's where I saw, all right, if this is the worst it's going to get, this is actually opportunity here. And that's when my wheels started turning, and, I saw different things I could pick on and change or fix. And that was where you were trusting me to just be creative, think outside the box. You know what I mean? And if it works, great. And that gave us those.
Think about this though. If I don't trust you to be you, what the hell did I hire you for?
Sure, why would anybody else trust me?
And why would I? So if I don't trust you, I don't trust my own decisions. So a lack of trust in the people that I work with is a lack of trust in my own decision-making process.
Right.
So if I'm going to truly be confident, and if I'm truly going to prove my own value, I've got to trust my decisions. And, the big decision for me was I need to give Ed more to do. I need Ed to Ed this. You know what I mean? And that's where it was. It was I had to trust myself. And that was really the thing for me. The shift of it was no, let these people do what they do best. Let's figure out what the value of what they do is. And then a little bit of me and a little bit of them and a little bit of the people that are here will turn this into something that has real value and then fits it. I never sacrificed the quality of the goals to accommodate personalities. Like there's always a standard for me that I have to maintain. If I can't maintain the standard, that's when you'll see me walk away from something. And the thing that kept me here was I was like, no, I have people that do understand standards. They understand timeliness. They understand cleanliness. They understand communication. They understand the clients and the importance of their needs. And like, it was like, okay, we have it here. It's just something's missing. And then, you know, we just realized we were like way too narrow of a focus, and we had to expand to incorporate all the aspects of it. And instead of giving people a bunch of classes to try out, we give them a solution to actual needs. And I think that's the difference. Like, you know, there's a lot of class-based programming. So you go and you join a big box gym, you can join Planet Fitness, you can join Crunch, you can join Retro, and you can take classes whenever you want. But it's not a system, it's just classes. It's a collection of like things you'll do at different times, but it doesn't go anywhere or get anywhere. And you know, we're a smaller space, we're a smaller, more focused community, and the thing for us is that we're providing a formula to achieve a goal. So it's a system, it's different. If you want to just go and generally work out, go do the other places, and then you'll quit after a certain amount of time because the motivation lasts, you don't have community, you don't have motivation, you don't have a lot of things. This is for somebody that needs to know someone's waiting for them. There's a group of people that they like to do it with. It's gonna work. Their quality of life matters. It's a real particular person for here.
Yeah.
And that's the people that we want to work with.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity for them because they're not huge groups, classes. It gives us an opportunity to work a little more one-on-one with them, you know, and not let them get lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
To get a little more attention, which I love. That's why I love the small group atmosphere.
Yeah, the small group is important because everybody feels it.
Yeah.
They feel the coaching. You know, you can't, you're not coming here to feel alone. You're coming here to feel like, okay, if I fall over, this person's going to nudge me back in line a little bit. And also that you can get your questions answered.
Yeah. So I'm excited if we can start with the younger crowd too, because I love working with, well, you know, I love working with Sean and his son Stone.
Oh, yeah.
And Stone was such a great example of being able to train someone that age the right way to do it, the safe way to do it, and educating him on the muscle groups and why do we do this, when do we do this, how do we do this. And when he first came in, he was so awkward and unbalanced. And a couple of months in, he was like exponentially stronger. So, and the balance was there, and his core strength was there, and you know.
But look at how we started. We had to start off focusing on one group, but now it's like, okay. So now we're kind of like helping people kind of rehab their understanding of fitness.
Yeah.
But then now we have the opportunity that we can actually create a foundation with young people that hopefully will carry over. So now proper nutrition, proper strength and conditioning, understanding what they're physically capable of.
Yeah.
You know, we really have an opportunity with young people now. I went to, over the Christmas break, I went to, so my son plays football, and they had a group for the football players. So they went to some place. I don't want to call the place out because I'm not going to say anything nice right now. It was 3 days. The first 2 days were okay. The coaches were engaged. And then the last day, it was a lot of kids. The coaches were clearly bored because they did the same thing for 3 days straight. Then the issue ended up, so the last day, they phoned that workout in, and my son was like, I never want to come back here. I said, why? He goes, they don't, like, he's 7 years old. He's like, they don't care. They just had us like do whatever. He goes, I need to get a workout. And I was like, man, if this isn't a lesson, like I never, ever, ever want anyone to ever come here and walk out feeling like somebody just punched the clock.
Right.
And that's if you want to talk about the B-Lab difference, it's just that level of attention because we care about the result.
But it takes a certain type of person to work with that demographic.
Absolutely.
And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Because if it's that obvious that your 7-year-old is like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Then there's a problem.
It was a lot of money for 3 days, and there were a lot of kids.
That's a problem.
They just cashed a check. Like they paid their rent that month or the next month with that program. That was just like a sprinkle on top of the cake kind of program for them. And they didn't care if the kids came back or not. And I'm like, man, I don't care if somebody's coming here on a one day because they're visiting somebody. If you come in, I want you to feel the attention, and I want you to walk out of here feeling like you got quality programming.
Absolutely.
The standard in which we represent, I mean, this place doesn't look the way it does because we don't want it, we don't represent something. I mean, we specifically designed this place to be aesthetically pleasing, to be functional. You know, we want you to feel like you're in a quality, valuable, premium kind of environment.
100%.
And the programming has to back that up. And yeah, I was shocked at it. In a lot of ways, I feel like fitness is something that's like a box checker. People are like, oh, I took my class today. And I wish they would understand that if your time and your money mattered, you wouldn't check a box or just go take a class. You would invest in a program or a system or join something that you can do consistently.
Yeah.
Because even with a challenge, I hate the challenge things. People do it for 6 weeks, they hit their goal, and then they never work out again.
Right. They don't come back until they put the weight back on and they're ready for the next challenge, or, you know, they just fall off.
So they lose the
weight
same
back
10
on.
pounds over and over and over and over again.
But with the yo-yo dieting, with that, they actually put on more weight.
Of course, they
Each
break
time
themselves.
they put on more weight each time.
Yeah, you break your metabolism. You literally can do that. You break how your body can function. Consistency is everything.
What I love about our group is, especially the 5 p.m. class, you know, they get excited to come in. They love being here. They're excited. And then they work when they're here.
I'm telling you, there's something about that 5 a.m. when you know you're consistent getting up for everybody else and doing a hard thing, it really does change you.
Yeah.
Whenever you do a hard thing consistently, it changes you. Any kind of hard challenge that you can take on is always gonna make you feel like you have an edge. It's very hard to be self-deprecating about working hard. Like when you're doing stuff that other people are not doing, or you have a sense of them not doing, and you recognize your grit and your endurance factor, that's like a superpower. That helps everything get better.
Yeah. Nobody wants to get up that early in the morning, but once you're up,
Yeah.
you know, you do one thing and then you do another thing. Basically, I get up and make my bed every day. Well, I make that bed every day, I know it's going to be a good day. I did something right. And then make my way here, watch everybody work out, and it inspires me to want to work out. So
Somebody was telling me, somebody sent me something that was a piece of information that was really valuable to me. It was, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is doom scroll on your phone, you're giving the power of how your day is going to go over to somebody else.
yeah,
You're allowing somebody else to decide the mental state in which you're going to start your day.
it's pretty powerful.
So when you come here, that's different. Like you don't have time to doom scroll at 4:30 in the morning. You got to get in your car and you got to get here.
Yep.
And then you're here and you don't have your phone, you do that work. If you run into information after that, that's different, but you're prepared for what's coming now. You've connected with yourself and you're prepared for the day.
You think I want to look at my phone at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm waking up to come here?
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's in a time like this, I think that like in 2026, with all the information that comes at us, I think it's important to do something that the only information we're getting is from us. And that's what these workouts do if you pay attention to them. You have to listen to yourself. You got to see how far you can go, and you got to feel it, and you got to do it. And you got to just decompress yourself from all the waterfall of stuff going on around you.
Yeah. You can look at and listen to AI all you want, but it's not going to change or transform you personally.
Yeah. You can alter the photos, but they're going to see in the real world at some point. Yeah. So I think we're in a good direction. I'm really looking forward to the next evolution of stuff. Coming up with tracking tools was really important. Coming up with a more unified programming situation was really important.
Right.
Rebuilding the facility to accommodate, a more holistic approach to it was important. I feel like in terms of the town that we're in and the solution we provide, I kind of dare anybody to come at what we're doing. I don't think you can. There's no holes to poke in this anymore. I think we plugged all the holes in the boat, and if someone's serious about getting results, and when I say serious, I don't mean like it in some kind of like demonic, possessed way of going about stuff, but just somebody that cares about their investment financially, their investment in time, and then understanding the quality of life that they want to have long term.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's too many solutions that are as well-rounded as us.
No, there'll be critics out there, but you said it to me not too long ago. We're doing everything right. So as long as we're doing everything right, I'm not going to worry about it.
2 + 2 = 4, man.
Yeah.
You can tell me it equals something else, but you're just going to look foolish. So we just keep doing the proper math, and we keep using systems that are not anecdotally proven. Like, again, my methodology that I built all my programming off of was scientifically based. It was based off of real people. And I've modified too. One thing I have to be very clear on is that my system has evolved over time, and it wasn't a marketing trend evolution. It's like, okay, new data comes out and they figured out that the human body functions better this way than that way. Sure. Well, I always incorporate that in. I'm not going to hold on to it because I was stubborn. I'm not afraid, like, 2 years ago, you told me to do it that way. I'm like, yeah, and I was wrong. But I was right at the time because that's what we knew. And so now we're evolving it. So the evolution of the process is really important. And the same thing, we're like, okay, you were in a lane, you were doing a thing, but you're expanding now. And so now you take the benefits of the way that you did it, you combine it with the science that we're using, and now it's like now it's like severely proven, you know, and that's the really important part. We just stay on top of what works. We're not chasing cognitive dissonance here. We're not trying to give people stuff to make them feel good about it. We're trying to make them stuff that actually makes them good. Yeah. So that the feelings they have are real. And it's not like, again, the one thing I can never stress enough is that if you're coming here because you like the people you're working with, and that's the motivation, it's kind of a problem. The work is first. Yeah. The communal aspect of the people that's next. Our community, the price of entry to the community is the work. Yeah. So you can't look at this as like, I come here once a week because I want to see my friends. You're kind of misusing the place. I developed these friends because we're working consistently together to achieve these goals.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, as long as they're motivating each other to do the work and not just here to hang out. Yeah. Or, hey, let's go to Otto's afterwards and get a drink. And, yeah. You know, but we've gotten good feedback so far, so good. Even with the lights, you know, even changing the lights and dimming them down a little bit, people have been happy with that.
Yeah, I knew from the beginning they want to change the lights, but we just kind of ran into a little bit of a wall. We didn't have time to fix a lot of the stuff. Yeah. And then, I mean, even funny stuff like we move in, we paint the place, and then something happened, and the walls settled, and like sheetrock cracked, and like living with like a white crack on a black wall. Oh my God, it was killing me. But yeah, but again, the community did step up. Tommy is one of our members. He's a contractor. He heard us saying we want to make changes. He chipped in. It was amazing what he provided for us. And I think that's also the strength of the community. These people really, they want this place to succeed, and they're investing their time and their money and their efforts into it.
He was excited when he came in and saw it because he had his workers coming in, and then he came in to do a workout with me, and he was like, wow, this looks great.
Yeah. No, it feels good. I come in here, you know, I teach here on Sunday mornings for a minute. I was kind of like, ugh. Now I'm like, no, I look forward to it. Yeah. And it's not the space, it's the people in the space. And, you know, I enjoy the crew. I think the cool opportunities now is, okay, more diversity in terms of the holistic approach. We're checking all the pillars off now, so we provide it. We have really solid solutions from weight loss to muscle building to lifestyle maintenance to mobility. We're doing athletic performance with the athletes. They have the opportunity to come in and work and get athletic performance, bringing in youth programming to help create a foundation for people as well. So yeah, like this is the playground for our experience now, and people get to benefit from all the years in which, you know, we did our thing with it. So yeah.
I'm excited. We have all the components there.
Yeah. So Ed, anything you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Come in, man. Take a free class. Come and check us out. I think that we definitely have nailed it. I'm having a good time training people. I'm having a good time being a coach here. I think people don't realize what they're capable of. And people want to say, I'll do it tomorrow, or it's not for me, or, you know, I can't do that. And I want to prove them wrong. You know, I want to help them to get that progress. Yeah. And I think that with what we've put in here, and like you had just mentioned, you know, maybe having like a kids program and an athletic program, and the 4 pillars that we put in here with everything else that we're working on, to gear it towards each person's individual journey.
But so we have the ability to do it because the system works.
Correct.
The system works. The system will work if you put yourself into it.
Like we've been puttering along for the last year, and we've been having results. And the people that we've had from the beginning have had results. To now put that all together, and to actually have progress, and to actually have the system, and to actually track, so that we can even
tweak it, make it better.
and dial it down even more.
Yep.
So that even when you finish that goal, you're not finished.
It's just that goal.
That's right.
There's always another.
We're going to keep going. That's what we're here for. So I'm excited to see how that pans out, because I think we've nailed it.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
yeah.
So Ed, I'm glad that the grit and the endurance that we've applied in our competitive lives, we've applied to the business, and we've stayed the course.
Yeah.
I think we've given ourselves an opportunity to take this to a different level, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. And continuing to grow the community and expanding on all the things that we do. And it's been an interesting year and a half to get here, but I think the struggle makes the success that much more valuable and much more fun. And
that's the crazy part. This has been a year and a half already.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And every day, I feel like it's new every day.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for the opportunity, because I think it's gonna be something big.
Yeah, I just it's an honest approach to providing a solution to real problems that exist, and I think that's what cuts through. So the honesty that we do it, like you don't have to like it, but it's reality.
Right.
You can't dismiss it.
Right.
You're going to either face it or you're not, and the people that are willing to face it, you have a home here.
Yeah, and just not take it personally. If this is not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah,
That's the people that are here. I'm going to give you 110%.
Yep.
I'll make it work. I want it to work for you.
All right, Ed.
Yes,
I
sir.
really enjoyed having you come on. We'll do it again. We're going to come in and have a conversation about some of the functional aspects of this, especially on the nutrition side of it.
Cool.
Because a lot of people have a real misunderstanding on the fueling aspect of what we do. So just for the sake of our members, having one space where we break down a lot of those numbers, I think will be really good. So we'll do that soon.
Yeah.
We had to get you on for the first time. So
Get that first one out of the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Ed Scarrano, Brian Wright, the Hive Podcast 2.0.
Good job.
We're out.
We're out. Great.